Next on Deck with Tim Black.
You bringing up people of color? What they got to do with black people being dragged to America? What they got to do with 100 years of Jim Crow? What are you talking about? And why is there so many black people going along with this? As if this makes sense for us. It does not make sense for us, folks. I saw a clip of Representative Jasmine Crockett. And it was soaring. It was soaring. It was viraling. It was going viral, guys. I don't know if you saw it. And you probably work for a living, so maybe you did. That's another thing I need to come to grips with, folks, is a lot of people work. They don't be on X or Instagram like I have to be. That's why I gotta go through social media to find out what's happening. I'm old. I gotta go on social and see what the young people are talking about. That's what I discovered. Representative Crockett out of Texas. She was talking about some things on Capitol Hill. Here's what she said.
Okay, Ms. Crockett.
So many of you know that I practice law, but some of you don't realize that I actually was a business major out of Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee. And the emphasis that I got in my business degree was on finance. And as I traveled the country campaigning this election cycle, one of the things that I talked about was this idea that in finance, we always promote this idea of diversity. If you know anything about a portfolio, the one thing that you want to do is make sure that it's as diverse as possible, because at times certain stocks will perform better than others, and they will exemplify various strengths and weaknesses. And
what is this about? What are you talking about? She's winding up. She's going to go somewhere. I saw 20 people leave as soon as she started talking. Don't be that way. Let's hear her out. I have a point of view, but I can't share the point of view without allowing her to talk. Okay? Hey, Tim, you cut off people too much. You don't know. A lot of people come to my show not to hear other people talk. That's why they come to this show. You don't like me talking. You probably need to go watch those clips. Jasmine Crockett has this clip on her website. She put it on her YouTube channel. So anyway, she's arguing about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay? So she's trying to make a point. Okay, so she's saying, hey, diversity is always good in finance. Why is it not good in companies? Okay, so let's go here.
Board, because it seems like you don't understand the definition of oppression, and I'd ask you to just refer to Google to help you out. Oppression is the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. And so as I sit here as a black woman who practiced civil rights, let me tell you the reason that my colleagues wanted to make sure you understood the same black history that your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me. And every time that you said it, it was almost as DP every time we try to push back on this idea of diversity, because all of us bring something different to the table. But you consistently said over and over the word oppression, and every time that you said it, it was almost as if I was hearing nails on a chalkboard, because it seems like you don't understand the definition of oppression, and I'd ask you to just refer to Google to help you out. Oppression is the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. And so as I sit here as a black woman who practiced civil rights, let me tell you the reason that my colleagues wanted to make sure you understood the same black history that your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here. We're not the same migrants that y'all constantly come up against. We didn't run away from home. We were stolen. So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like, and don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed, that y'all are the ones that are being harmed. That's not the definition of oppression. You tell me the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment that you've had, and we can have a conversation.
You could start with Exodus.
The final thing that I will say on this particular issue, two things. There is an article from The Guardian, and it is a little old. It's from 2021.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there, guys. That's her point. This is what went viral, is that little pocket. And so, in order to get this clip, I was looking for this clip, and it had all types of funky stuff on it. I said, so let me go get the original one. So that's when I went to her YouTube channel, and I was able to find her full statement that she herself posted to her own YouTube channel. So this is her version that she wants us to know about. One of the things I noticed as I was looking at her channel, as I was listening to this clip, I saw a lot of people that were bigging her up. They were bigging her up, going, you go, girl. Tell them white people. Tell them white men what time it is. I saw some people, I remember this one particular commenter said, I'm a 67-year-old black woman, and I ain't never seen a sister tell those white men really what's going on like that. I appreciate you. I love your energy. I love you. There was other people with similar comments. Go, Representative Crockett, giving them the heat. She always puts it down. And I was like, wow, man. God, I wish I felt good about this. But I don't. Maybe because I pay attention. Yo. Chancellor Crockett is arguing about diversity, equity, and inclusion. She's using blackness. She's using what happened to black people to take care of everybody else. She want to help everybody else. She want to dilute our stories and apply it to everybody who's not a white guy. She said, hey, y'all, how you going to sit here and talk to people of color? People of color weren't slaves. All that stuff you just said, you was on point. All that stuff true. I don't know why you saying it now. Oh, because you think indigenous Alaskan people, they need you to fight for them? You brought up migrants. You bringing up people of color. What they got to do with black people being dragged to America? What they got to do with 100 years of Jim Crow? What are you talking about? And why is there so many black people going along with this? As if this makes sense for us. It does not make sense for us, folks. Let me be specific. I find it disrespectful when black people from the Democratic Party use black struggle, black pain, a black history that we have, that we've suffered in this country to help everybody but us, and then champion and then get loud and indignant about what white men or white people need to do regarding America. No, us, black Americans. See, Miss Crockett's not delusional. She knows her entire argument is for black Americans, but why is she extending it to bring cover for people that aren't black Americans? Why do white women get to be included in this? This has always been my problem with the affirmative action thing to begin with. This is why I'm not jumping out of the gym, because it's been ruled unconstitutional. Because it was helping mostly white women anyway. Jasmine Crockett is one of those people that knows that. She's a lawyer. She understands how the law works. She knows it wasn't just for Black people, this diversity, equity, and inclusion. In fact, when I did the peeling back at this, I started looking at it. I said, why is it that all the majority, only like 2% of the management in the diversity, equity, and inclusion programs are Black? Why is it such a high number, like 90% of them, white women? You think I'm the only person that can look at that statistic? You think it may be news to you, but it shouldn't be news to her. That's a whole lot of yelling and screaming and fighting and ranting. That's a hell of a performance just for 2%. You understand what I'm saying? That's a hell of a performance when you're not even the people that are impacted positively by this action. And it's all heavy lifting of the Black people. When people think about diversity, equity, inclusion, and affirmative action, they always looked at Black people and said, the Blacks, they're the wise. Meanwhile, we ain't even getting the benefit of it. So we get blamed like we're the ones, the only people getting it, when we aren't. And we got Democrat shields like Jasmine Crockett making grandstanding speeches about putting something in place, and I'm not saying these white guys don't need to get some heat, but for Black people, not for people who got here last week, not for people who came here in the 70s. If you came here of your own free will in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s, guess what? You can use them same feet to go somewhere else when you got here and realize, hey, this place is racist. Hey, this place has cops with talk with their hands and their guns. Hey, this place won't let me catch a cab. Whatever it is, your gripe, we're not the same. So yeah, I have a problem with Jasmine Crockett's rant because it's at the expense and it's using the collateral and the credibility of Black Americans as a shield for all these other groups. I never heard a Native American person, while they were talking about the oppression of indigenous people, ever throw Black people in it. So we're going to start getting real now. Because I know I got people listening who say they mean well and say they care and they want to disagree with Tim Black. But listen to what I'm saying, man. I've been at this for a long time. 13, 14 years now. Whenever I hear Latino Americans, Latinos, or Asian Americans, or LGBTQ Americans, whenever I hear any of these other groups that are so-called oppressed, when they are arguing about their oppression, I never hear them throw Black people in it. Why is it whenever Black people are talking about their oppression, they have a tendency that they got to include all these people? It's almost as if they don't feel that they have sturdy ground to stand on by themselves. It's almost as if they have an inferiority complex in making demands for Black people by themselves, as if having a bunch of Latino people who got here the last 5 years or whatever is supposed to give you more strength. We're united. That's not how they operate. When the dreamers are trying to get their dreams right, they ain't thinking about you going through Jim Crow, nor are they arguing about it. They're not talking about the experimentation, the forced sterilization. They're not talking about medical experimentation. They're not talking about all the lynchings and all the pain and all the suffering and all the other ills that I don't even want to go through right now, because that's not what this video is about. Nor is it about you saying, what about their stuff? Yeah, they can talk about their stuff. Let them make the argument for their stuff. That's my point. Why does our stuff have to be mixed in and diluted with the heavy lifting of others? I think part of the reason why we have such a hard time dealing with Republicans, dealing with these issues with Republicans, and I could be wrong, but we'll see, is we got too many go along, get alongs in the Democratic Party trying to make this coalition garbage. No, I'm not on that. When we're talking about issues that are for all Americans, cool. But when we start bringing in our history, our specific history, you don't get to apply that to nobody else except Black Americans. And don't even use those arguments, don't even use those talking points to catapult other groups. That's what the Democrats do a lot. It creates resentment. I think it only makes things more difficult for us. I resent it as a Black American because I think it's unnecessary. And like I stated, I think it's part of an inferiority complex you have, or somehow you feel that your argument is only strong if you include all these other people that are not Black. We all suffered from y'all. See, we need to all join together and go get them. Nah, man, that's not how it operates. That's not what they're doing. Do you realize that's not what they're doing? You are a little afterthought. That slides you in at the end of the speech. You are included in we. But when I hear them, when I hear other groups talking about this shit, they are not jumping out the gym about your oppression as a Black American, about the history of Black America. We need to stop this, and we need to stop clapping for it. We need to grow up. It may be true that getting anything out of the Trump administration is going to be, it's going to be a feat, not unlike the $6 Million Man, or it's going to be a MacGyver level. It's going to take you being a rocket scientist, able to walk on water and also move objects with your mind. I don't know. It's going to be a very difficult thing. That's what they say, okay? And you might be right about that. But you know what? We're going to rise or fall on our own 2 feet, under our own steam. I mean, respectfully, Black Americans need to deal with Black American issues from the standpoint of just Black America. That goes beyond talking about reparations. I'm talking about when we're even having conversations about jobs, when we're talking about who's impacted from immigration, when we're talking about how we're impacted from environmental injustice, all those things. Let's stop listening to those people that say, oh, but we're all going through it, Tim Black, so we all suffer. We're all, yeah. But not all of us have the history that Black Americans have. And what I've noticed as being a student of history, that all these groups are using our unique struggle in this country to help themselves. What I would love for people to go back through their comments as Jasmine Crockett's video and reconsider and ask themselves, how does this help us? I looked in my mailbox. I didn't see my DEI check. Just wondering. Now, maybe if you got a tangible reason for jumping out the gym on this, fine, present that. But it needs to be more than just words. This emotional rant from a lawyer. Put your argument together. I get it. Put your argument together. But this all over the place emotional rant about what white men don't understand, they ain't got nothing to do with DEI. It's got nothing to do. No, let's just keep the focus where the focus should be. If you're going to be talking our story, because your story is our story. So when you use our story, don't use our story to make an argument for a diverse group. Don't do that. Okay? If I got a problem with the state, if I got a problem with my town about what they did with the street in front of my house, or if they whatever they did to my plot, whatever, I'm talking to them about that. Now I can get with other people that are on my block who have that same problem. That's different. You're going to get people from other streets that don't have the same problems, who don't have the same issue, nor the same history. You're trying to get them to do what exactly? I don't know. It's performative. It's performative, and it's so 2023. This is 2024 going into 2025. We need to turn the dial on this. And I hope this will be something that changes under this new administration, this new era. Because, frankly, I don't think nobody going to listen to you now. It'll go viral. Should be the leader of the resistance. Leading you where? Into what? To what end? So we're actually trying to get some stuff done. We hold the currency for that. Black America holds the currency to get things done. For Black America, totally different. Yeah, so anyway. I think you get it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I just think we need to stop filtering. We need to filter and control the delivery system of our messages, and to make sure that we're actually not overextending ourselves to include way too much. We need to focus. We need to focus the area. You know what I mean? We need to focus. What our actual issues are, and let's focus on remedying our issues. It's okay to be an ally. It's okay to be supportive. We need to focus our issues. Because when you are 40% of the homeless, and you are 14% of the population, that's a problem. It don't sound to me like you really got a lot of time, a lot of space, and a lot of room to be like, we need everybody to do. Everybody not living outside, sis. Okay? Okay. Stop clapping so loud for grandstanding. This ain't Apollo. She ain't auditioning for the cover of Vogue. It's another lame. I saw AOC do it. I didn't catch her on her way up. I'm catching Crockett on her way up. Nah. Go try out for a Tyler Perry movie.